All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at page 16 of the reference tables. This is called Properties of Common Minerals. And as you'd imagine, this tells us a lot about minerals. So we're going to work from the left of the chart to the right. And the first three columns we have are common physical properties that you will test for. The first one being luster. That's a mineral's ability to reflect light. And it'll either reflect light like a metal, and when we say metallic luster, that means it'll have a gold or silver appearance. Not that it's shiny, but that it appears as if it is gold or silver. We also have non-metallic, which means that it does not look like a metal, i.e. gold or silver. Next down the line, we have hardness. Hardness is in reference to the mineral's ability to resist scratching. So the harder it is, the more resistant it is to scratching. So for instance, if I look at quartz, which has a hardness of 7, and I were to rub that against fluorite, the quartz would scratch the fluorite because the quartz's hardness is greater. The next we have with these little checks is how the mineral breaks. If it breaks with cleavage, it will have parallel surfaces, not just flat, but parallel surfaces. And if it breaks with fracture, there will be surfaces that are irregular. Think of jaggedy sort of surfaces. Common colors isn't too useful. You'll see many of them share colors. Like, for instance, colorless to white and colorless to variable shows up quite often. So common colors, it's nice to know, but it doesn't do much for us. Distinguishing characteristics, this is handy because obviously being a distinguishing characteristic, this kind of identifies the mineral. Well, the only one that mentions density is galena, and if you pick up a piece of galena, it will feel very heavy for its size because its density is so high. If you look, that's 7.6 times more dense than water. Uses they'll ask you questions about occasionally. That's one you just have to read. One, it's not a use, but one thing they do include is the New York State gemstone. That is garnet, also the hardest mineral that you'll find in New York State commonly. Composition tells us what elements the minerals are made out of, and these are the chemical compositions or equations. We have a little abbreviated periodic table down here, or at least lets us know what each one means. So if I look at calcite, CaCO3, the Ca stands for calcium, the C stands for carbon, and the O stands for oxygen, and there's 3 of those. Lastly, but not leastly, we have the minerals' names. You'll see that some go by 2 names. For instance, amphibole. There are many different kinds of amphibole, but the most common is hornblende. So that's a little bit of an overview of page 16 of your reference table.